All right then. Because I have a fully functioning brain, which may be a bit quirky, but it's certainly firing on all cylinders. Unlike some people in the spotlight in the US of A right now. I mean, I know enough to know that I'm never going to build an audience like Vegas Matt or Bobby Rivas or Jen Dolt or any of those guys who are basically professional losers who are touting, shilling, hawking for the casinos that host them, look after them, and treat them like VIPs. I'm never going to do that, but what I really want to do is just get across to as many people as I can possibly reach that there is a better way to bet. That if you're properly resourced, you can make a dent in games with a negative expectation, and obviously all the games that a casino offers are games of negative expectation. We're kind of like brainwashed, trained to believe that any kind of progressive betting is suicide and stupid and blah, 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 blah. And of course, it's absolutely wrong. It is complete disinformation. It's myth building, mythematics. But it's very powerful because they put a lot of money behind it, and the likes of Vegas Matt and so on keep spouting the party line, which is, oh yeah, well this martingale is really stupid. I mean, whoever would do this, and every last one of them at some point has poured scorn on the martingale, and I agree with them about the martingale. That is just crazy shit, but pattern betting is the only way that you can win, because pattern betting is the only way that you can ensure that over time you win more when you win than you lose when you lose by a percentage which is greater than the negative number that you get when you deduct the number of losses from the number of wins and multiply that percentage by the total number of bets. It's all simple shit, but it's not simple stupid. It's just simple, smart, simple logic, simple mathematics, not mythematics. Yeah, a bit of an oopsie there. I forgot to add my usual caveat that, I completely accept, always have, and have repeated it many times over the years, that there may well be a better betting strategy than pattern betting. I've been making improvements to the strategy over the years, and that tells me that it could be better. And also, it's entirely possible that there are people out there who are using a far superior betting strategy and doing very well with it and keeping their mouths shut, unlike me. But I haven't found it yet. And the day that I do find it, the day that somebody says to me, "Hey, this is way better," I'll ditch this strategy in a heartbeat, because the whole objective is to have a business that creates constant, steady profits, not greedy on the level of Dana White and all those other high rollers who claim to be constant, consistent winners, but are never asked to prove it, and certainly have no data behind them, like, for instance, the data that backs this strategy. People will say to me time and time again, they'll say, well, that's not a representative sample. That's only 100,000 shoes. That's only blah, 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 whatever. And it doesn't mean anything. And of course, that's all absolute BS, along with all the other stuff that comes from the shills and the people with a vested interest in protecting the casino's bottom line. But anyway, I just want to repeat, I'm fully aware that this may not be the best strategy in the world, but it's the best one that I know of. And if anyone out there has a better way, please tell me. I'd love to know. Okay, so it's back to baccarat for a change. The one thing that I haven't done is to update the session, so I'm going to stop for a moment and just fix that. Okay, so we've got a new session ready, Sunday the 7th. One other thing that I wanted to show you before I kick this off is the current state of the worksheet. So I'll stop again. Okay, so this is not completely successful because the frame that I use for for the baccarat sessions doesn't quite fit here, but it fits well enough, I think, so that you can see what's going on. All I did was create a chart which actually tracks our wins and losses from shoe 1905 to I think it's 2051, and it's 151 altogether anyway. So it's yeah, 151 shoes on top of 1905 is 2055, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but this is the pattern. This is how it looks over this spread of 151 shoes. And yeah, we have some dips along the way. You know, these little blips here. The worst one had us going from 269 dropping down to 226, which means we were exposed 43,000. And it's actually more than that, because if we lost, then if we lost the big bet, then it would have been further. But we won it, so that was the max exposure, 43,000. And as you can see, it's very consistent. It's exactly like the horse racing thing that I've been spending so much time on, and I love it. I mean, what I'm trying to do is just get the word out that if you have a constant, consistent, steady money management method which does not waver in spite of the chaos going on around it, the randomness, the sort of unpredictability, then you can actually get yourself out of trouble very successfully, and better than getting out of trouble, get into profit. Here's a somewhat truncated version of where we're at 151 shoes. The bulk of the information is here. There's a bit over to the left that's cut off by the frame, but that's not too damaging, I don't think. I added this too because I think it's relevant. We've got a 49% win rate in terms of the number of wins over the number of losses. So we're facing a house edge, a house advantage of 1.6%, which is here. So that's minus 1.6% for us. And because we've managed 132% in terms of average win value over average loss value, we're making money. That stuff is important. It's relevant. I just hope that you agree with me on that. But anyway, let's jump back into the fray. And here we are, starting a new shoe. Excuse me. Double for the tie. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Minimum. +1. And at some point, people are going to stop sort of saying, whoa, that's ridiculous. That doesn't work. What's it about silly ass Greg somebody or other, the Brit? This is so bad, it's embarrassing. That's because he works for a casino and he knows it's bad news for casinos. So, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. God, and I've had some awful threats over the years, not death threats, but certainly harm threats from people who clearly work for the casinos. 1, 2 again. Minimum. And I can quite see why they're as shitty as they are, because they really do feel threatened. But to hell with them. They're greedy bastards. They are trying to rip us off at every turn. And somebody has to do something. I mean, I'm just one bloke and I'm doing my best, but it's not going to make any difference until there's a huge army of us, and that's a very long way off, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 3, 4. 7, 8. Okay, we're getting into trouble now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 15, 8. Over to the bank. Damn. That's got to be 5-6 in 500s. That didn't work, did it? I think it's time to run away from this one. I don't like it. So that's going to be 11-12 in 500s, which we will call, sorry, pardon me, 6-7 in thousands. And we will start with player because I never bet on the banker on a new shoe. So 6-7 in thousands. Scary shit early on, right? But that is the name of the game. So we need a player win over here. That would make me smile. I'm smiling. Back to the men. Double for the tie. +1. 1-2. Back to the min. +1. +1. 1-2. 3-4. Uh-oh. 7-8. I don't like it. 15-8. We got to go to the banker again, haven't we? We don't have to, but I mean, that's what we're going to do. 15-8. Okay, 15-16. Damn it! Bloody ties, I hate them. Okay, so that's 7-8. Damn it all! 7-8, 7-8, 7-8, 15-8, 15-8, 15-8, which is 8-9. And I'm going to make an executive decision here and jump to player. Well, no, I'll make it 8-10 and stay on banker. I do hate ties. Have I mentioned that? Oh, look. There we are. Okay. We're only less than 9 minutes in, so I guess I'll finish this shoe. I was on banker there, wasn't I? Yeah. Double for the tie. +1. +1. 1-2. Back to the min. Double for the tie. +1. We're plussing all the way right now, aren't we? Me and my big mouth. I think I can afford to just repeat that, even though we lose the commission. Damn it. There we go. +1. Okay, we're going to go 3-5, last on the banker, maybe. 8-5, so that's 2-1 player. 3-2. 1-2. That would have been nice. 3-4. 7-8. Bloody ties! I know I bang on about him a lot, but they're such a waste of time, you know? I hate them. Of course, dealers love to encourage people to bet on the tie because they know how good it is for the house. And of course, they're just doing their jobs. They're doing what they're told. Repeat. Double for the tie. What was that? Oh, no, that's minimum, isn't it? Back to min. Because we had the double there. Double for the tie. Jesus, how many ties will there be? There's 11 so far. Plus one. And that's as far as I go. All right, we'll chase it. Back to the min. Double for the loss. 1, 2. Min. Double for the loss. Repeat. Where am I there? That should actually have been 25. So I'll just repeat the bet. Okay, now it's 3. Now it's 1, 2. Everything is in the bet, you know. It's nothing to do with the choices. It's all about the betting. 7, 8 we're at now. 15, 8, stuck with the banker again. We've had some rough goes this time. All right, so that's 5, 6 on the banker. 11, 6, which is 6, 7. I'm running away from this one. I don't like it. It smells funny. I think we were at 6, 7 before, weren't we? When we started. Player. We need a player win. We didn't get it. 13, 14. Heavy doo-doo. There we go. Okay, back to the min. I'll play this one to 20, if it lets me, because we're over time. I'm trying to keep these a bit shorter for the sake of everybody's attention span, not insulting anybody, but that's just how it is. Double for the tie. Back to the min. One, 2. Min. Plus. Double. 1, 2. 3, 4. Damn it. Not in the groove this time. 7, 8 again. 15, 8. Bloody bank. Excuse me. 15, 8, 23. Alexa, stop. Okay. 5, 6, 11, 6. Oh, look. over here. 11. It's going to be 6-7 again, isn't it? I mean, it's like what's it called? Groundhog Day. Okay, player, relying on you for a biggie. Eh. There it is. Good as gold. All right, so now I'll play this one to 20 if I can. Just because that's a habit I've got into, and it's, 51. Repeat. Min. Double for the loss. Repeat. What was that? 51. Repeat. Min. Double. Double. Good enough. Minimum. Double for the loss. 1, 2. Okie dokie. Minimum. Double for the loss. Repeat. 51. Repeat. Double for the tie. Okay, we're out at 23. So we've got a session balance of 11,465 in 18 minutes. That's pretty good. 18 mins. 11,465. Okie dokie. All right, so we got to save this bugger. And then go and look and see what we just went through to make our 11,465. I've had a couple of people over recent months saying, yeah, well, the thing with that simulator that you trust and use all the time is that it's just recycling shoes. They keep coming round and round again. They've only got a fixed number of shoes and they just keep playing them again and again and again. Do you know what? I don't care. As long as I don't know what's coming, if it were the same 20 shoes recycling, never mind 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever, I must actually send them a query about that and just say to them, I've had a couple of people asking me about this over the whatevers. I mean, it's completely meaningless. It doesn't matter. But people are so anxious to find a way to tear down anything that challenges the conventional wisdom. And the conventional wisdom basically is casino wisdom, because they've spent years and millions, sort of promoting this whole idea that, it's all about having fun. It's all about the fact that, yes, there's a house advantage, which is completely unbeatable. And then you've got sort of like the standard sort of cliches, like any amount bet against the negative expectation must have a negative outcome or negative result. It's just bollocks, But people, it's basically, I think, because people want to believe that if they do manage to make a little bit of money, then there's something special about them, and otherwise they expect to lose and even want to lose. I mean, I've said that many times and I get some pushback against that sometimes. But, when you spent as many years as I have in casinos, and I was in Nevada for decades, watching people was my business. I was a journalist, was my day job. And so observing people and reading people was part of what I did for a living, And, oh, God, jeez, you do see, I mean, they people get to the point where the chips aren't money anymore. There's some kind of weaponry that they think Damn it, if I throw more on the table, they can't beat me. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'll try and remember to cut that out. But anyway, all I'm saying to you is whatever you've learned about whether or not the house is beatable, it's bullshit. They're lying to you. And this is not a conspiracy theorist speaking. This is somebody with experience in the casino biz on the opposite side, because to me, they are the enemy. I don't feel that way about dealers. I don't even feel that way about pit bosses, but the corporate slugs who eat our lettuce. Like that? They're the buggers that I consider to be the enemy. Anyway, this is what this looks like currently, and you can see where the 11,465 comes from. So I'll stop and just update this. Okay, so that's the front page updated now. We'll just go look at the shoes so that I can paste on the results when I get to the edit, if I ever do. Sometimes I wonder if I'll make it to the edit. It's not that I think I'm dying. It's just it's just sheer exhaustion. But then I was saying to my friends in the horse racing side of things that if I didn't have this to do, if I didn't have the horse racing thing to keep on pursuing day after day, I'd go nuts. Because what would I do with my life? I'm not in journalism anymore. I'm still doing research and working on stuff for the future, but basically without this and without horse racing, I would be bored shitless, is how it is. Anyway, just got to, I'll do it later. Let's leave that. I was going to say I just need to gather some information from that, but I'll have it in front of me in the edit in a minute, or whenever. Okay, so this wasn't a complete shoe, was it? But let's take a look at it. And I'll leave it here long enough for me to be able to paste on that important bit of info that we need. That's probably long enough. But once again, I know I get boring, but I can't help it because, the truth can be incredibly boring at times. Lies are imaginative and shocking, and but they're still lies. They actually don't have any relevance to real life. The truth can get a little bit sort of. But anyway, here we go. Five wins, 14,450, 10 losses, 12,000. So, we've done it again, but we had to roll over because I didn't like it. You can gag for any reason at all. Don't even hesitate. In the end, what you're looking for is you're just looking for normality. A sort of a regular pattern: wins, losses, wins, losses, wins, losses. You're trying to escape a loss, mean streak. That's what you're running away from. And chances are pretty good that when you go somewhere else that the pattern will be normal, for want of a better way of describing it. Anyway, let's look at the last one, which was, we didn't have a complete shoe here at all. And there you have it. 12 into 8,000, 8 into 300. That's pretty dramatic, don't you think? But we did good. We won. We made money. We boosted the bankroll. That's what we're about. And it's a business proposition. It's work, not fun and games. But by golly, winning is definitely more fun than losing. I don't care what you say. Okay then, so the beat goes on, or the beating of the house goes on, is what I should say, I guess. What are we looking at right now? Not much of a change, really. Obviously, it's valuable to us that we've added another 11,465 to the bankroll. Not without a bit of bother here and there, but this is what the bankroll is for. And you hear people all the time talking about protecting your bankroll. It's a complete nonsense, I tell you, because if you don't have a bankroll that can protect you, and keep you moving forward, then your bankroll isn't big enough. It's as simple as that. I mean, it really is just common sense. So anyway, the bankroll was stretched a little bit. We had a negative AV this time, which I always prefer, as you know, if you've been with me for a while. I'd much rather see pattern betting thrashing negative expectation than simply profiting from positive expectation, because anybody can make money when they win more bets than they lose. But when you lose more bets than you win, which is what happened here, 53 wins, 56 losses, 26 ties. I keep meaning to put ties in there, but I don't know, somehow it would clash with my sensitivities. Anyway, what we've got here is not much of a change in terms of, in fact, no change at all in terms of the house edge, minus 1.6, which is where it's sat for quite a while now. The indicated outcome based on this action number here is a loss of 50,548. Instead, we are ahead 375,786, but who's counting? We're still at just over 4,000 an hour based on 75 bets an hour. If I change that to 72, what would happen? Oh no! I think I prefer 73. No, I'm just kidding. But it's impossible to know how many bets an hour you can manage, because it's going to vary, isn't it? Yes, it'll average out over time, but it's going to vary depending on how you feel, whether you've got better things to do than make money at baccarat. I mean, all of those things. Average winning bet to date is 576. Average losing bet 437. I don't think those two numbers are frightening. Every so often we do have to dig deeper, but that's because we're on a mission. It's a business. We are taking a sensible, business-like approach to this whole thing. It is a challenge. We are up against negative expectation. We know that. And oops, starting to gurgle a bit there with my old throat problem. And hey, I look at some folks my age out there who can barely put one foot in front of the other. And I count my blessings. That's what we all have to do in our lives, I think. Count our blessings. Because the shit that comes at us, we probably can't do anything about. We can't fix it, but we can make the most of the good things in our lives. That's what I've always been telling my kids anyway. My lovely daughter in particular, who tends to be a glass half empty person, and I just don't see any percentage in that at all. But there we go. I keep singing that little song from Monty Python all those years ago. One of the few things I liked about Monty Python: always look on the bright side of life. One of these days I'll play it while I'm doing this, but I think most people are familiar with it. Anyway, up to the top where there's a bit more information. 91 negative AVs to date. Only 47 of those, about half, actually resulted in a negative shoe result. We have 109 positive shoes. The positive shoes outnumber the negative shoes by 232%, so that's good. This number here is slipping just a tiny bit. Average winning shoe is 5,511. Average loser is 4,785. Not in the least bit worried about that. Commission is 7.2% of total winnings, but of course I stay away from banker as much as I can. I hate it. I will bet on it when the strategy tells me I must, and once in a while, rather than betting on banker, I'll say sod this for a game of candles and gag the shoe. So, that's what you have to do. All the numbers here are about the same. Ties are at 9.8%, which is why when they pay you 8 to 1, it's a bloody cheat. Should be at least 10 to 1. I think the one of my favourite places from years ago, the Pepper Mill in Reno, I think they pay 9 to 1 on a tie. But frankly, I don't care because I don't bet ties. and neither should you, in my estimation. But of course, it's your money. It's entirely up to you how you throw it away, if that's what you want to do. All right, but down to the bottom again. I think I've covered everything there. Yeah, so down to the bottom again, save it, and I'm gone until the next time. All right, so as usual, I managed to forget something, but thanks to the editor, I'll be able to just tack it on. I wanted to show you the current chart after the last four shoes were added. These are 2056 through 2059. So we had a nasty there, and then caught up very nicely. So we're now at 375, 786. That thing up there tells us that we're current, we're doing fine. If it gets to the point where these numbers don't agree with the numbers on the previous tab, then it'll scream at me that I need to do an update. But I'm good for now. And if there are sensible people out there thinking punters, and they're rare birds, that's for sure. But if there are thinking punters out there who can look at this trajectory, this pattern, and say, nah, this is no way to bet. It's dumb. I'd much prefer to bet randomly, flatly, stupidly, dangerously, randomly. Well, I said randomly already, didn't I? Recklessly, irresponsibly, dumbly. If there are people out there who feel that way, well, they have that right. There's no doubt about it. But I think there are one or two people out there who might be thinking of themselves, I think maybe this might work. I hope so. And I'm not looking for money from anybody. I'm not looking for anything from anybody other than what I want to do is convince as many people as possible to stop losing unnecessarily. Sometimes you will be stretched using this strategy, but if you are properly armed, properly resourced, properly financed, then you can kick the casino's greedy ass. That's all I'm saying.